Amy, also known as Janitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 476.
Hello, hello.
Ah, hello. Yeah, we survived a potential storm yesterday where they were canceling everything. It was severe enough that Ellie reached out and was like, "Is TikTok in my weather app correct that you guys have some potentially severe weather?" I
Yeah.
was like, okay. Apparently TikTok's blowing up about southeast of Minnesota weather, but yeah, kind of a lot of nothing.
Yeah, it hailed here
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I
Same,
need
same.
need to wash my car or the kids' car and find out if it got some damage or not.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like there are a few spots on the roof,
Mm.
but I couldn't see any on the hood, and I'm like, well, that's weird. So I'm like, they are kind of different metals. So like maybe I'll run it through a car wash and see in the
Yeah. This is the time of year that our one of our cars always sits outside because we've got bikes
yes.
and whatever. And so yeah, Jeremy specifically went and made sure that we had all of our had everything out of the way so that car could go in. But our other one is away at college. So
Missed the storm entirely.
it did. Madison was not impacted at all. I was like, you should stay safe too. And she's like, we're not supposed to get any. Well, I still want you to stay safe.
Yes, still be safe.
That's the mom in me. That's the mom in me. Ah, yeah. Your is finals starting next week for your college student too?
Yep. Um, Gotta go. Move out day is the 12th for us, so it's very close.
Yeah, yeah. I think hers is a little earlier than that, but we may end up paying for paying
An
for
extension.
an extra day or something for a lot of logistics. So
I was gonna
yes.
say ours was very like strict. I don't think I could pay for an extension.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's cheap.
Okay.
But it's not because we can't. It's because, there's things moving within the city. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a logistics problem that I think only time will will
Right.
will solve. So yeah. But yeah, wild, right? Like that, I feels like yesterday we were both sitting here talking about our children going off to college and how next June NZK would be so much different. And now they've completed a year.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I I don't know if it's good or bad, but I've been calculating how many more years my children, both of them, would be in college. And I'm counting the months until it's over. I don't know if I don't. I'm not necessarily looking forward to it. It's just more of a like, okay, this is going to be a an interesting time of my life for the next how many other months.
Yes. Yes, yes. And I'm sure, yeah, not to be too revealing of my family, but I'm sure both of yours are planning to go off to college. I don't know if one of mine will, so we're kind of trying to figure out what our future might look like as well, living in this home with yeah, adults and people rotating cast of characters.
I was just trying to figure out the summer car situation because I'll have two drivers and one extra car.
Mm,
And they'll both want summer jobs. And yeah, it's
yeah.
going to be an interesting shell game here.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to one. I was in Chicago last week, which is why we couldn't podcast. Missed you all yet again. I was talking to a coworker, and he was saying they have four teenagers and
Oh, wow.
only one car shared across the whole family, right?
Oh,
So,
wow.
which in Chicago has a much
Yeah,
better public
right.
transportation system. But also, I was like, so your children must take driving very seriously. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, if you've only got one car and you wreck that one car, like nobody gets to drive, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess that is kind of amps up the pressure. I was like, yes, it does. Um, but yeah, cars and logistics. We're having fun with our growing up families again. Just so surreal to me. It sounds like Ellie won't be in town for ZK this year.
Oh,
So yeah, so it's like, oh, that little girl that was running around and helping with badges and whatever won't be able to stop by and say hello to all of the folks that have been so invested in her life. But she's working in a lab and
oh
doing
wow,
adult things, right? So
cool.
yeah, yeah, can't begrudge her that she definitely needs to take on her own her own things and not my things. But yeah, kind of surreal.
Cool.
Speaking of ZK, we've got some fun announcements there. We've got our t-shirts and our Spreadshirt shop is up and running. So grab something if you want to have it for our pajama party or other items. Amy and I need to get ours ordered for that. Thinking, I don't know. I was just telling my mom because she was talking about ordering some spoonflower fabric for somebody else. I was like, I always wear my same pants. Should I get different pajama pants for the pajama party this year? But they are spoonflower custom fabric, mommy made, Grandma Jill made pants. So yeah, have to make those decisions here shortly.
Sorry, I have a troublemaker at my feet.
Ooh. Oh, Alice, getting big. She's like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was sniffing around my objects here, my whips.
Oh,
But yeah, I let's see what else is going on. I'm going to be sending out our new KAL challenges.
yay.
A little preview of that is that we had mentioned our Titty Pool, which is charity knitting for knitted knockers. But one of the categories for next couple months here is going to be knitting for charity. It could be any charity. It has to be an object that will go to the charity, and then you'll link to that charity. So I'm not counting like charity knitathons, I guess is how I'm categorizing that one. And then, of course, we want to celebrate our speaker and do some tiny items. So anything that Anna produces that has the word tiny in it will definitely fit the category. But then I also have some size guidance if you want to use a different pattern. And yeah, we're excited. There's one more out there, so that can be a surprise when you get your email. We
Well,
couldn't decide. We had to like all
my
the things.
only knitting adjacent, other than the work in progress that's in my hand, kind of tips my hand to that. So yeah, stay tuned, I guess. But
Yes.
yes, we are in the home stretch. A lot happening behind the scenes, as we often mention. Very excited. If you have something that, so I just recently finished my Renaissance, which you won't see here because it's a
Mhm.
finished object, but did because it was by that same designer that Amy was also doing, and there is some very sparse color work. I did some ladder back
Mm.
um, color work there and kind of had some aha moments and thought, well, maybe I should teach a class. So I might teach a ladder back class on color work. And then I think there's some other things that I'm thinking about, like it might be fun to share. I know some people in our knit nights have been sharing and kind of trying to gather for interest from other folks about whether or not would you like a class about this? So I think Discord is a great place to, if you're trepidatious about whether or not anybody would really be interested, you will get a lot of hurrahs out there as well as on our knit nights. And in general, I think people are just excited about people sharing their knowledge, right? So you don't need a hurrah or a resounding yes, do that from the group. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that will sign up for your sessions. We'll probably do a Poke Walk again. I'm excited about that. I think a few people have mentioned that they signed up for Pokemon Go as part of that breakout session and are still doing it. So that's cool.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was thinking because we have the tiny animal or tiny miniatures and Anna's gonna be there, I might do a minis swap again.
Fun.
That was really fun. So like a stitch marker swap, right? You're gonna be making a bunch of them and then exchanging one of yours for one of theirs, and maybe you'll have like a miniature collection of stuffies yeah, I have a jar of them up there from the
Yeah.
last time we did it, and it was a lot of fun. So
Ah,
yeah, and anything can count for that. I will probably do some of Anna's simpler patterns for that, and yeah, it should be fun.
excellent, excellent. Yeah, and then we've continued to have our lucky craft your luck um challenges. So go out there and check those out. We've got a handful, including a hand inspired one.
Mhm.
And yeah, again, for me, it's like trying to play Sudoku and get, multiple categories with within the ZKKAL designers and yarn and challenges as well as our other KAL challenge. But again, I think that I find that fun. If other people find that stressful, you could just do them, one at a time and not try to tick tick and
Mhm.
tie a ton to one project. And yeah, I think that's it. All I've got as far as administrati.
Okay. So I'm going to start by saying that I've been kind of working off challenge for the last few weeks. So I've been feeling like, I don't know, like a slacker, but not really. Um, so the Farmer Daughters Fiber Discord had a book club, and the book was really sweet, and I liked it. But the theme was around moons, and so they had this cowl as one of the pattern inspiration type things that you could knit. And I don't know what, it just struck me. Like I'm not normally sucked into they do this every so often. And this one just really spoke to me. So I went ahead and I found some Farmer's Daughters fiber uh, from the past, Farm to Needle. Um,
I recognize that blue. Yeah, I've got some
yeah,
socks out of that blue.
yep. And then the white or pinkish one was definitely in a very similar base. It was a 90-10. Um,
Also made a
so
pair of socks out of.
yeah, yeah. So I pulled those together for the is it the
Mhm.
Ixel cat cowl? So yep, about halfway, and it'll just
There
be a
was like an
mirror.
IXL sweater as well, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, I was like, that's not a sweater unless Amy's making it for a
no,
baby.
no. Yes, it's the same designer,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
pattern. So
Did you
just
do any ladder back
intelligent.
on that, or did you feel like there was enough like
Uh,
continuity?
they just wanted you to catch the floats very often because it has entire rows where you only do like one.
Uh, yeah.
So, but then I don't know, there's just not a lot of room for a ladder, I guess is my thought on it.
Fair.
Because yeah. And I would say at the widest separation beyond the full row one is this like 9 stitch moon.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
and there might have been some other ones, but yeah, there's entire rows where it's like there's one or two blips in it.
Yeah. A
So we're just
lot of
catching
catching
it.
then, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, lots of catching. That's what makes it slow and not as fun as far as like a um it's not quick and easy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I've been
I really do
enjoying it.
love the combination in color work. My Renaissance, which again you'll see in finished objects, has a kind of speckled
Hmm.
yarn as the contrast as well. And as long as you don't have any overlaps, it's so stunning. Like there's just
Hmm.
like a depth of color to that color work because of the kind of speckle slash blips in there. I really love it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it too. And then I think there's rules about you can use a certain percentage from another dyer. And I just had some leftovers that'll be if I decide to make the liner, it comes with liner instructions with
Ah,
mohair.
that's nice
So
so that you don't catch any of those floats.
yes, exactly. You don't
Hmm.
have to worry about them as much. That was the first one, and I only have three today, so we'll work through them as quickly as I can.
Woo!
I
I love
have
it.
started another Velour,
So pretty.
and I really like. I, I just keep forgetting how slow this fabric knits up because it is so much slipping that it's very squished, um, at least horizontally. So, or yeah, whatever. Brain words not so good this morning.
You're
On
not
the
getting a lot
needle,
of length every row.
right? Yeah.
Underarming, a lot of row every row. Yeah. I love this
So
color palette. Tell me about it.
So this is another farm to needle. The purple, I ended up buying two skeins or an extra skein because I liked it so much. And then the yellow, it says it's the same weight, but it feels thinner. But they're all very rustic or smushy. I don't, they're very soft. So don't get me wrong when I say rustic in that way. But kind of a worsted, squishy, smushy, worsted spun. Uh,
Mhm.
but they're all fingering weight. And hopefully I'll be able to get this done with two purple, one yellow, and then this accent color that I found out of my stash. But if not, I might have to add green in, and I'm not too thrilled about that. So it's gonna be
It's a
a
short
yarn
sleeve.
skipping.
You're doing
Yeah.
short sleeve, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
it's just
can't.
that it's
Yeah.
tiny. It's
Yeah.
just that I'm already at around 50% done, and I have 50% yarn. So it's one of those, it's like, ugh.
We have both been doing a lot of that recently. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've already put a couple call outs on the in search of threads and stuff like, hey, anybody got leftovers from your socks, guys? Because I got this purple and I need it. But we'll see.
Yeah, it almost feels like doing that might make it so that you don't need it. Again, not to
Yeah,
jinx
exactly.
that, but yeah, it's like at least if you ask, then
Yes.
you
Yes.
may not need it. But if you don't ask, then you might get to the where you're like, well, yeah.
Well, we had talked recently in my favorite things about eBay. So I have started my eBay project. So this is the baby bamboo
Mm,
that I bought from a local yarn store many, many moons ago and found a few more balls online so that I could make a ragmore or rigmore, Rigmor. It's a petite knits pattern.
hmm
So it's basically got these beautiful little clover eyelets in it. That's what drew me to it for our challenges. But I didn't get a healthy start on it. And then other things came into my life, and I also felt like I was going to run out of yarn. So I put it on pause, but it's back into rotation. I'm enjoying like I get a full pattern repeat done and then I put it down. But I think I'm going to really like this sweater when it's done, so I'm not too
Huh.
disappointed I'm missing any of the challenge points on that. But yeah, that's it for I'm trying to get. I do have one timeout project that's sitting here staring at me, so maybe I'll pull it up, but at arm's length, is that I knit with a new to me yarn was part of, or fiber was part of a challenge from Queen City Yarn. I've knit with all of her bases, so unfortunately I had to go outside of that. So I am knitting Teeswater that I bought from a local yarn dyer and purveyor. I believe these are her sheep. So it's kind of one of a kind, as in this base is only for that short run of production. So it's a Teeswater sheep.
Hmm.
The only problem is that it's also an alpaca farm. So as I've
Uh-oh.
been knitting with this, I have been getting scratchy throat and having to put it down. So it's just going to be a hat. And I hope that once I wash the bejesus out of it, all of that alpaca will be washed away and we'll just be left with the teaswater, which I'm pretty sure I'm not allergic to the sheep. It's just that it's on an alpaca farm and they mill it themselves
Yeah.
or locally. So could be done in batches following her alpaca yarn. So
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'll hold hope in my heart for you.
yeah,
Otherwise, it might end up on our knitwear adoption table, huh?
yeah, it could end up there anyway. Just because, once you've had that experience with it and you're just like, okay, I completed the project, I persevered, I don't want to see it again. uh, and it's also this interesting, like, naked color
Yes. Yeah.
that I'm not sure
When
that
you were
I.
talking about Teeswater, I was like, is that the colorway? Because it kind of looks like stained like from tea water. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, teas
Yeah.
water.
Yep.
But yeah, it's, like I think who was it? Shelly Can did that Knit Your Naked yarns. Well, this would have been perfect for that. It's
Yep.
very flesh toned.
Yep.
So
Yep.
maybe somebody with a different complexion where this could pop would be great. But it's like exactly my skin tone.
Are you saying that if pasty white Megan was wearing?
Anybody who
Yes.
really likes a pale brownish pink would love it because it is a lovely color. And it's just like as I'm knitting with it, I'm like, wow, that is really close to my hand color. But anyway, that's my objects. I do have the sock on the go, but it happens to be on the go. I left it
Yeah.
somewhere. Uh,
Okay.
so
Well, all I've got is sock on the go. So, as I mentioned, I finished that sweater. I didn't have yarn like caked up and ready to go to take with me in my travels. So I was like, socks. So I finished some lavender loon socks over the weekend and cast on another pair of socks. So I had some leftover self-striping and a nice green solid from our vendors and cast on this sock. We've got some garter and some blips of lace in there. And again, it's blowing out that green. I think it's the addition of like the yellow wall behind me, maybe.
mhm.
But you could see it's from my Wes Anderson style socks where it had the brown and then the blue and then a brown and then a different blue and then a brown and then yet another, in that range. Really enjoying this is kind of like a fun patterning sock. You can see like the switching of the colors on the foot, OMG heel. And yeah, gonna try to race to get these done before the next challenge. But always socks, even though I don't really need socks. I mean, I guess I could start giving some of my socks to my daughter who has a slightly smaller foot, or find somebody else that's got matching shoe size with me. But yeah, we've got another challenge that Amy mentioned, again, that shall go unnamed right now. But thinking that I'm going to knit a Paul Klee sweater. I think you guys have seen this on Needle Adjacent before. This was some Sun Valley um,
Mm,
minis. And then I've also got my
great.
self-striping Advent leftovers from 2021, as well as my Queen City Advent leftovers from
Whoa.
2021. Yeah.
I feel
These
so
were,
organized.
well, I made the Jamie Hoffman V sweater with both of
Mhm,
them, right? And then I think I've done something with the Suburban Stitcher because there's severely less of it. I'm trying
mhm.
to remember what I did with the leftovers. I think I did some color work where I held them together. And that's how this one's been kind of eviscerated and this one's real full. But
You
yeah,
got me
between
thinking about the Easy V. I haven't knit one of those yet. That would be really fun. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. You're
Again,
inspiring me.
you
I
guys
might
are
get them.
seeing the choices, but not the category. Stay tuned for the
Right.
category. Um, but yes, lots of beautiful colors here to choose from. And I've wanted to make a Paul Klee sweater, which is kind of those blocks that don't necessarily all line up ever since I think we saw Marilyn Quilter make, or at least I saw Marilyn Quilter make one.
Mhm.
So some beautiful ones out there when you look at the finished objects. And so I
Oh yeah.
think that might be what's next for me. I don't know. Maybe I'll get allured into, I think this is the last cold snap. Fingers crossed.
Mm.
My husband did put the snowblower away, so that doesn't bode well. But last cold snap, and maybe I'll start getting into more of a summer knits versus a full-blown color work yoke sweater. But we'll see. So yeah,
Yeah,
very
you're right. That
uninteresting
is,
whips for me. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, you're right. That is interesting. Like, I hadn't thought about that because going into the Easy V would be DK weight. And I'm like, maybe I don't want to knit with that. But I'm already making a bunch of summer tops. So
Yeah, I
um,
mean, and it does get cold indoors during the summer in air
fair
conditioning. I don't
point. I could
know.
make cardigans.
We're bustling around at ZK, so it probably wouldn't be like a ZK sweater unless it was a fingering weight long sleeve. But yeah, I yeah, I haven't given it much thought. It's mostly just been like a lot of travel and some nice easy projects on the side. So my my project planning has been lacking, but that was what immediately came to mind as we were discussing categories. Again, stay tuned. Amy's got to get that email out.
Yeah, and it's set. It's just that I think I had asked you a question and then I changed that word and then
Mhm.
I did not send. So um
And you need
so
to
once
go because you're out, you've all packaged yourself, haven't you?
I I have everybody's watching me wipe my face going, I gotta wash my hands
Yeah.
and maybe my face.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye, Uvta. All right. I hit end. All right. I think we've got people excited.